Figyelj, a következő videó komoly spoilereket tartalmaz. Mi? Elindulunk. Mondhatok valamit? Köszönöm szépen, hogy tényleg odaállítod a órát mindkét alkalommal, amikor elindította a játékot. Egy csomó ember nem veszi komolyan ezt a lépést, és csak 12-re hagyják, és ennyi. De te tényleg átállítod az órát, és ezt értékelem. Így tudom, hogy te tényleg figyelsz erre az élményre, és hogy figyelsz az egészre. Nem is tudom, hogy tényleg a jó órára állítottad be. Tudod mit? Csináljunk egy alkot. Mivel ennyire együttműködő voltál, legközelebb, amikor bekapcsolod a játékot, és ezt az órát látod, állítsad az órát a kedvenc idődre. Válasz, amelyik időt akarsz. De akkor is, hogyha az nem az igazi idő. Megedmelt. Oké, lökünk vissza téged a játékba most. Ezt hívják művészetnek. Hello mindenkinek, takizoli vagyok, és nekem nagyon túl hangos az egész. De most már minden jó. Üdvözleteket a Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe folytatásánál. Legutóbb ugye megkaptunk egy pár endinget, örültünk magunknak. Nem gondoltam volna, hogy benne lesz a Firewatch, meg a Rocket League. És tudom, rosszul mondom azt, hogy Rocket League, nem Rocket League. De ez egy ilyen insider joke a öcsémmel. Csak egy pár dolgot tudok a többi befejezésről, addig elindítom. Nem tudom a végeket, csak azokat, amik az eredetiben vannak benne, és csak valamilyen, kösz az achievementet, csak valamilyen bucket, mi a bucket magyarul? Stanley, mondd már mi a bucket. Vödör, csak egy vödör van benne, annyit tudok. Lol, valaki szolitárt játszik. Itt valamiért mindig azt mondom, hogy valaki elsétáljon. Új content. Szóval nézzük meg!
Oh good, you noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
Ó? Ez te voltál? Na, hát akkor mit akarsz mutatni? Azt hiszem a tiéd, narrátor. Igazából mindig is ez volt. Ó. Skippeltük az egész new content bizbaszt. Jó, akkor menjünk. Be a liftbe.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further.
Oh.
Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever the Stanley Parable 2.
Stanley Parable 2?
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely new experience, built from the ground up. Why, there's so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions. This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Na hát igazad van, ez tényleg egy második részt akartunk. Legalábbis én igen. Hallja a madár csücsengését, a Stanley Parable 2. Nézzük akkor.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Igen. Mondjuk igazad van. Apropó, ez a kalandvonal, lol. Új és finom. Kóstold meg a folytatást. Kérem a folytatást. Jó, akkor nézzük is meg, hogy mi van még. Ez mi? Photos of painting. Rendben. Mik lehetnek ezek a képek? Vagy ezek csak egyszerűen csak a festmények? Csak most digitális formában? Mi értem van? Megijedtem az ajtótól. Új bögre. Onnan lehet tudni, hogy új, mert rá van írva, hogy új. Ha nincs ráírva, akkor nem tudhatod. Honnan tudod, hogy tényleg új-e? Never underestimate coffee enjoyer. Left their cup by a leather sofa that faces a blurry room. What? Oké, kihagyta ott azt. Nem szabad alábecsülni őt. wait a second. Ezek nagyon úgy néz ki, mint az irodájuk. Főleg azért, mert ott egy crow. Mi a crow magyarul? Varjú? Varjú. Ja, varjú. Aha. Ez irodájuk. 3 varjú. Crows. Kettes? Igen. Visszajöttek 2 ajtó. Több TSP. TSP gondolom az a Stanley Parable. Másik. Jobb TSP. Win-win. Sequential Mindshare. A piros szín. Tényleg piros szín. Na nézzük mi ez. Logó ötletek. Stanley Parable 2. Stanley Parable. Az a logó tetszik. Na az ugye az a 2 ajtó, bár azt gondolhatná az ember, hogy ez igazából egy lift. Ami nem is olyan rossz. Hiszen volt egy csomó lift ebben. The Stanley Parable 2. Nem tudom, too fancy. Túl robotikus. Ez nem. Nem. Csak ne. Az olyan is, hogy azt írja át, hogy 11. Ó! Hogy co-op lenne benne?
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it.
No.
I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
Folytatások jók. Portál 2, Half-Life 2, Batman Arkham Asylum 2, City, Divinity Original Sin 2, Doom 2, Aladdin 2, Return of Jafar, Dark Souls 2. Ezek komolyan szeretik az Aladdin 2-t? Én is. Ez meg. Nem tudom elolvasni rendesen, mert el van mosodva az oldala. Ha meg tudnám passzadni a kamerát, akkor meg tudnám nézni. Don't talk to me before I had my sequel. De beszélj hozzá, ha még nincs meg a folytatásom. Hát... Jó, akkor nem beszélek hozzád. Aha, befektetőknek van ez az egész. Új feature-ök, új content, ez egy busz. Van mozgássérült opció. Nice. Gondolom ide föl. Melyik vagy a szék? Oh.
Here we are. Go on, try out some of the new features.
Ezek az új dolgok? Ott a vödör. Merch. Egy QR kóddal. Jövőbeli én. Most azonnal QR kód olvasás. És ide rakd fel, hogy mi. Remek. Most, hogy mi is volnánk, exkluzív a gomb, ami elmondja a nevét a játékosnak, aki éppen játszik. Ha komolyan kimondja, hogy Zoltán, akkor én beszarok. Halld a nevedet a játékban. Nézzük már meg, hogy tényleg igaz-e?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
De, kíváncsi vagyok. Mondjad el.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim, seizing all of the world's possibilities as Jim, and as Jim watching your dreams crumble into dust. Do you feel it deeply? Are you really, truly Jim right now? If so, then please step forward and press the button.
Hello mindenkinek, nevem Jim, és üdvözletőket a Stanley Parable-nél. Nézzük meg. Elvileg ez a játék kimondja a nevemet. Nézzük.
Jim. Yes, you see, what a thrill, what a rush.
Jim.
That was you. The button described you. Do it again, do it again. Jim. Oh, It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money. Let's take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation.
Nézzük akkor mi van még raktáron, de... Ez mekkora nagy hülyeség volt. Pont ezért szeretem ezt a játékot. Komolyan mondom, ott...
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually save me the work of finishing this feature.
Nem. Nézzük. Kérlek, ne screenshotoljatok. Komolyan mondom, ne screenshotoljatok. Francba Mark! Még kell screenshotolni? Mindegy. Egy teljesen új iroda. Piros, az új narancs. Nem tudom, az a carpet nekem nem tetszik. Nézzük akkor a a gomb, ami azt mondja, hogy Jim. Oké, nézzük meg. Reassurance bucket. Oh.
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket. You see, Stanley, anytime you're holding the bucket, a sense of calm and ease will fill your mind and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable. Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
Szóval elvileg, hogyha megfogom ezt a vödröt, akkor nyugodtabb leszek?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
Megtartottam a vödröt? Megtartom a vödröt. Tényleg, sokkal nyugodtabbnak érzem magamat.
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game?
Nem,
That
de
really should
kell.
be an award if it isn't already.
Igen, szerintem is. Office decorations.
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one.
Ezt még nem
I
döntötted
think that
el?
in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
Melyik lufi? Mindenkinek kell a pozitivitás.
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Oké vagyok ebben. Mindkettő tetszik, de én azt választottam volna, de hogy ezt akarod, akkor jó.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
Ez a játék. Amennyire imádom, annyira furcsa az egész. Az ugró karika.
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle? Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Ne használd az összes ugrásomat. Ki az a csaj? Jó, egy térkép. Na, köszönöm szépen. Ez már kellett nekem. Na nézzük. Az 5-ös, az ez a térkép. Q ingyen achievement, ami erre van mögöttem. Ugró karikánál most voltunk. Settings World Champion. A végtelen lukat szerintem utána nézzük meg, mert szerintem lehet, hogy be kell majd ugrani, és félek, hogy softlockolja a játékot, és nem tudom megnézni ezt az egész új csodálatos contentet. Az az új player modell? Az akar lenni az új player modell? Remélem, hogy nem. Az a player modell jobban tetszik. Nézzétek, hogy vigyorog. Nekem jobban tetszik. Nézzük, legkönnyebb achievement. Húzd meg a kart, kapd meg az achievementet. Ennyi. Csak működik. Látom, mit mondtál. Látom.
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given to you. It's as simple as that.
Oké, meghúzzuk, Vödör.
Nem érdekel.
Rendben, húzzuk meg.
Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Akkor is kinyitom. Tudja, hogy egy csomó ideig itt húzkolod, akkor működni fog egy idő után. Az a babás játék is mondta, hogy 4 óráig kell játszanod, és mondtam, hogy nem viccelt, tényleg nem viccelt. Úgy, összegyűjthetők. Ja, hogy ez nem a játékmodell, hanem a gyűjthető. Értem most már. Nézzük, hogy milyen collectible-ök vannak. Collect them all. Teszi.
Collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Tökéletes.
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely
Igen,
tragic.
mesélj róla. Ti is utáljátok, nem? Összegyűjtötök minden egyes dolgot a játékba, mondjuk 100 akármit, és ez a végén kaptok is valamit. És miért? Hanem, hogy az új. Mondjuk. Csináljuk. Nézzük. Apropó, meg kell nézni, hogy van-e még ilyen szobor, mert azt írta, hogy 8. Vagy 6-ot mondott. Nem emlékszem. Epilógus!
An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
Oké. Szóval azt még nem tudjuk, hogy mi lenne, de az epilógus, hogy az legyen. Ja, szerintem is. Egy epilógus az sokat segít egy játéknál. Jó, most jön végtárluk. Ez engem a Gravity Falls-ra emlékeztet, vagy Magyarországon rejtélyek kisvároskája. Fú, de hülye neve van. Az a daluk, amikor folyton zuhantak, de igazából nem zuhantak, hanem lebegtek egy picit, aztán vissza föl. Mondjuk videójátékban könnyű megoldani az ilyet.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
Igaz, szerencsére velünk van a Vödör. Nem tudom, nekem nem igazán tetszik. Jó, kell, hogy nincs ugrás, pedig most beugrottam volna. Szóval akkor Vödörguggolás. Oké, 1, 2, 3. Geronimo!
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great! Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
Vissza lehetett teleportálni. Üzelni még egyszer.
Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley.
Ah.
I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know. I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean.
Csak te mondtál dolgokat,
put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite. If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to the top of the hole and we can move on.
Igen.
I'll just be up here when you're ready.
Igen, nekem tetszik az, hogy majdnem végtelen, de ki szólt ide egy csögött a csikkeket. Most komolyan emberek. Majdnem végtelen, Luke. Na, akkor lépjünk is le. A vödröt viszem magammal. Ki az a csaj?
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
Aha,
Ready
mindent
to move
láttam.
on now?
Ha, mehetünk is. De jó. Ez tetszik.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment.
Okay.
I'll arrange these new features together and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience.
Oké, összerakod a elemeket.
Are you ready? Here it is.
Készen állok.
I give you the Stanley Parable 2.
Hol ajánlat?
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on. Let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Ez kb. Mint olyan, amikor én
Who am I
dungeonokat
kidding,
akarok
Stanley?
csinálni.
This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Aha. Tetszik. Igen. Nem tudom, a logo az még mindig egy picit furcsa számomra, de jó. Főleg ez a folyosó, ami így megy össze-vissza. Mi van a végén? Loopol.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427.
Something very peculiar happened.
The Stanley
Something that would
Parable.
forever change.
Jó, skip.
All of his co-workers
hol a
were
vödör?
gone.
Vödör,
What did
vödör.
it mean?
Még az milyen durva feature lenne? Narrátor, nem tudom, hogy figyelsz-e, de a lufikat ki kéne, hogy tudjam pukkasztani. Az mennyire szórakoztató lenne már. Ott a vödör!
Stanley picked up the bucket.
Igen, felvettem a vödört. Vödör. Most már sokkal jobban vagyok, sokkal nagyobb biztonságban érzem magam. Itt van velem, kedves vödör.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Igen. Szorosan balmozoláltam. Vödröcske. És megy balra. Így, hogy van vödör is sokkal jobb.
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find answers.
A vödör az igazából nem meleg. Mondasz valamit?
Stanley, can you feel it? The broom closet. It wants the bucket. You can feel that, can't you? The aura of jealousy? It's as clear as day. This broom closet believes it deserves the bucket. I can really feel it now.
What's
It's
that?
a bucket. It belongs in a broom closet. That's what the broom closet is trying to say here. It's supposed to go with the other cleaning supplies. Good for you, Stanley. Don't give in. Don't hand over the bucket.
Nem
I
adom
know
oda
how
a
hard it must
vödröt.
be, given the pressure that the broom closet is putting on your shoulders right now, but you have to be strong. This is your bucket. This is your companion and lifelong friend.
Igen?
Can't hand it over.
Ez enyémé.
No.
Nem.
Need a name calling now, it seems. Is this how low the broom
Oh?
closet has sunk that it
Igen.
has to
Minek
resort to this
szólítottál?
stream of petty insults simply in order to get you to hand over the bucket? Stanley, I never liked this broom closet for a variety of reasons, but even this is worse than I had imagined.
Igen.
And wait, now the broom closet has the gall to imply that you and the bucket are not truly deep and lasting friends? That your relationship is purely superficial and convenient?
Hogy
That your life is
merészeled?
so banal and meaningless that you'd feel the same sort of kinship towards any inanimate object which happened to lay in your path in an even partially enticing manner? Well, I never. Go on, Stanley. Lay into it. Really tell the broom closet off for its demeaning comments.
Nem.
Expand on the wide
Nem
variety of
süllyedek le
experiences.
odáig.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Igen. Gyere, vödröcske.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire if not for the soothing presence of the bucket. Even now, in his darkest of hours, did the bucket's warmth and guiding light pierce the dark clouds of confusion and chaos.
Igen.
It would be with him always.
Mindig velem
bucket
voltak.
would.
Drágaság.
Stanley was so absorbed in the tender spiritual connection he shared with the bucket that he didn't notice the keypad behind the boss's desk. Nor in his
tell me.
bliss of simply being near the bucket did he have any notion that the PIN number for the keypad was 2845. But Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation.
Igen. A vödör vezet engem. Menjünk le. És most ténylegre megyünk, most nem lesz a egész liftezős piszpasz.
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate. It would be all Stanley could do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The
Igen.
bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
Velem van a vödör.
Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
Agy control. Igen, ez teljesen ugyanaz, mint a izé volt. Hogy a hangok tetszenek.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley and the bucket both wondered to
Te
themselves.
is arra gondolsz, ami elején, vödör?
Hogy mennyire szar vicc ez.
Igen, pont arra.
The monitors jumped to life, and Stanley nearly dropped the bucket in shock. Everyone in the office was being videotaped, monitored like guinea pigs. The bucket had never seen anything like this, and it very nearly burst into tears as Stanley cradled it gently, reassuring it that everything would be fine.
Minden ember ezt, vödör.
Was the bucket under the mind control facility's influence as well? Had the bucket been told to do things it didn't wish to do? What kinds of things does a bucket want to do or not want to do in the first place? These questions raced furiously in Stanley's feeble mind.
Igaz.
No! He screamed into the bucket. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control, never! He squeezed the bucket tighter. His one friend in the entire world.
A
At
vödör
this point,
megijedt.
he could trust no one except for the bucket.
Senkiben nem bízok meg. Csak a vödörbe. Az egyetlen ember, akiben bebízok, az
But
én
here
és a
was the
vödör.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy,
Wow.
or sad, or content. Walking, eating,
Az
working,
eredetiben nem
all
volt
of it
ennyi
monitored and commanded from this very place.
sötétség.
And as the
Sokkal
cold
jobban néz
reality
ki.
of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he and the bucket would dismantle the controls for good. Two best friends, Stanley and the bucket, up against the world. They high-fived in a really cool way, and the bucket made a sassy comment about taking down the system.
Pontosan? Lehet vödör?
Kessünk túl rajta.
Nyomjuk.
Stanley and the bucket waited in blackness. Was it over?
Vége.
Yes, they had done it. Stanley and the bucket had defeated their greatest and darkest enemy, freed themselves from the tyrannical grip of the evil mind control machine. Freedom was now mere moments away. Excitedly, the two of them began to discuss the kind of life they wanted to live once they stepped through this massive door. The bucket wanted to learn to roller skate.
Oh,
Stanley
weekend.
wanted to sneeze in every country on Earth. Both of them wanted to begin watching a movie, any movie, but then stop it halfway through and begin watching it in reverse from the end.
Oh.
True, it was a simple life they envisioned, but it
Igen,
was
csak
one
egy
they
egyszerű
lived
életet akarunk.
together, with one another to lean on, to trust, to support, and... What? Wait. What was happening? Why had the door stopped? Was Stanley and the bucket not about to be freed? An unbearable silence filled the room, lingering in uncertainty, until finally the truth hit Stanley square in the face. This building did not want the bucket to leave. Even the facility itself recognized the incredible calming presence of the bucket,
Nem.
needed the soothing warmth of the bucket, would go to any lengths not to part with the bucket. No, no, no. Stanley can't leave this place, not while he has such a precious bucket in his arms, not while this building has anything to say about it. Stanley realized he would never again leave this very room, but at least he has the bucket. To be trapped eternally in darkness isn't really so bad, Stanley thought to himself. As long as I have my bucket with me, right? I'll be okay, won't I?
Ja.
Stanley gulped. Very soon now, he was about to find out.
Szóval nem engedett minket el, ahogyan nálunk van a vödör.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly
Persze,
to his
persze.
chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to
Igen,
be.
a vödör mondta.
And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? Yes, Stanley thought to himself. Yes, perhaps it truly
Jobb ez
was.
a hely.
How insightful the bucket turned. No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
Vissza a meeting szobába, vagy folytassuk azt, hogy nem.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there. Go to the cargo lift.
Ó. És tényleg ott egy összegyűjthető.
You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows
Yes.
I've tried.
Oh.
So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
Gyönyörű. Na menjünk visszafele. Most már van 2 szobrunk. Hol vagyunk? Mi ez a hely? Kazetták. Narrátor dialógus.
Okay, this is day number 295. Tape number... I don't even know. I've lost track. Nothing feels real anymore. The longer I study this bucket, the less sense anything makes. The sheer euphoria I feel every time I pick it up. No matter how many times I've done it, it's always the same feeling. And the emptiness in my chest when I set it down. It doesn't make sense. There's no explanation for it. I still haven't figured out why I see the world so differently when this bucket is in my arms. Why everything feels so... What do I do with this treasure? I can monetize it. Yes. It's unthinkable the amounts of money people will pay for even just an hour with the bucket. This is my golden ticket. But I have to be careful, because as soon as this gets out, there's going to be a target on my back. Even now, I don't know who might be trying to get... What's that? Who's there?
Mi a fasz?
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket.
Nem, még jobban ezt vagyok zavarodva.
Tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Most ott van tűnve, hogy a meeting szobába kell menni. Ott van valami. Hogy találhatjuk meg őket? Just the completionist instincts. Talán mi vagyunkat gyűjthető. Lépcsők. Valamik a lépcsővel van. Valami, ami mindkettő piros és kék. Egy kemence mellett, vagy tűzhely mellett. Egy privát, de büdös helyen. Oké. Egy pillanat, ezt fel kell írnom. Gyorsan felírtam. There will be a reward. Szóval lesz jutalom elvileg. Oké, nézzük meg, keressük meg. Hogyan találjuk meg az összeset? Mi lebeg? Ott a PC. Az a 6-os. Egy privát, de büdös hely. Na nézzük csak, azt mondja, lépcsők. Valami a lépcsőkkel. Oh. Aha.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that.
Stanlerine.
Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Oké, most akkor 3-as letudva. Most akkor, ahol mindkettő kék és piros. Azt mondom, hogy tovább mit akar. Menjünk oda, ahova nem akarja a narrátor. Nem. Nézzük, akkor menjünk tovább. Itt lesz a kék és piros hely.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Oké. Ez egy vödör?
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Na nézzük.
Item 1. Is this a bucket?
Igen.
Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Csak hogy tényleg, hogy nem láthattam.
Item 2. Is this a bucket?
Gondoljuk át, nézzük meg a textúráját. Szagát sajnos nem érzem. Várj, nem érzem a szagát. És nem ad ki olyan nyugtatás, mint ez, szóval nem.
Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Én már mondtam.
Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Nem most. Nem.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
Az egy vödör? Érdekes. Sokkal jobban.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
Ez egy high-tech bucket.
Are you hallucinating? This is a tractor. It's an enormous machine that tills the earth. I thought this was a gimmick. How on earth did you manage to screw it up? Absolutely incredible. Let's just move on to the next one.
Bocsánat.
Is this a bucket?
Nem.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
De...
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
Igen.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Mi?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere. Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something, and therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket?
Nem.
You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence, and yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I a bucket?
Tényleg?
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely. Okay, here we go.
Ne.
What happened? Is everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And
Nem
you,
vagy
Stanley,
vödör.
you're still here.
Én sem
You're
vagyok
not a
vödör.
bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person.
Igaz,
All right,
pánikot
here we
okozhat.
go.
Oké. Most próbáljunk ki valamit. Most nézzük meg mi van, hogyha tényleg azt mondjuk, amit a vödör mond. Szóval oda vágok méghozzá.
Don't
Most.
go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good, said the bucket. Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious
Ezeket a
fact.
figurákat valahogyan
He
össze
was
kell
firmly
szednünk.
convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket
Oda a
asked.
piros és kék helyre nem tudtunk menni a vödörrel.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Melyik sötét hely? Ez nem egy sötét hely. Az? Itt lesz a telefon.
Now pick up the phone,
Said the bucket.
pick up the phone and it will take us back home, where we can go about life together.
Oké, felszállt a telefont.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him.
Milyen szép egy hely. A lépcső annyira nem tetszik, de jó. Ó, ott a Vödör. Hello Stanley, én vagyok a Vödör.
The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head.
Nyomjuk át, hogy visszavigye haza.
Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me.
Ez a gondom, hogy az ilyen emberekkel, mert ilyen emberek vannak, akik tényleg azt hiszik, hogy dobozok, vagy valamik beszélnek hozzájuk. Vissza?
Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else.
Nem érem a P betűt. Eljöttem. Na akkor, programozható billentyű.
You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Ignorálj mindenkit az életben, kivéve engem.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it.
Elhiszed, hogy igazi vagyok. Igaz, Stanley?
Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another.
Újraélni, hogy ugyanazt a napot. Újra, meg újra.
Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket?
Menjél haza, munka, haza, munka, haza.
Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. Oh no. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes. The bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Menj vissza a munkába, Stanley. Ennyi? Csörgök telefon.
Good morning. Thank you for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation. We are confirming your shipment of 1,327 cardboard boxes to your place of work. Can you verify that this is correct? Excellent. Your order will arrive shortly. Thank you again for contacting the Future Happiness Foundation.
Rendeltünk dobozokat? Nem, most nem.
How to
No
convince
bucket.
you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, okay, I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and Figlies. What do you think, Stanley?
Figli.
What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by one? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
Ez is kihúzva a listánkról. Na, akkor most már csak a WC-t kell megtalálnunk, és valamilyen fireplace. Egy helyről tudok, ami a fireplace van. Nem,
The meeting room. Yes, that's where everyone would be. Stanley just needed to get to the meeting room, and from then on, he would never be alone ever again.
tényleg megjöttek a dobozok. Ez a játék csak adja és adja és adja a contentet. Executive Bathroom. Ott van.
You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all of the Figler Anmarines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler Anmarines. None of us can.
Megvan. Kinyílik.
He stepped
Tovább.
into the newly opened passageway.
60.
And there it
Amazing.
is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here, and now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
És most kíváncsi vagyok, hogy újraindítom a játékot, és visszamegyek a meeting szobába, hogy mi lesz akkor.
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines. Those Figlers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone?
Oh,
I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
a memory zone. Now remembering when Stanley found the collectibles. Ez a jutalom, hogy megtaláltuk. Az
Here's
első.
where it all began. The first collectible. Back then, we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain? We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
7 a 6-ból. Hát rendben van. Most
And
újra
here
ezt...
was a second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own, just by poking around in the warehouse. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone
Igen, nem is
6.
gondoltam, hogy
But you
megtalálom az
continue to
összeset.
surprise me in all
Az
sorts
utolsóhoz
of
fel kellett
mundane,
néznem.
unremarkable ways.
Az utolsót meg kell nézni, mert nem értettem.
Okay, let's do a little quiz.
Okay.
Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini Stan? Can you remember?
Emlékszem, a lépcső alatt volt.
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything.
Bizony. Lehet, hogy nem
Let's see,
elfelejteni.
what came next? Oh yes, we found a Figley in this pink room. Oh well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
Bizony... Ez Vidman szobája? A WC?
This was the 5th mini Stan, and this one was really something special. It was in the boss's bathroom. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion. Enjoy.
Egy videó? Ez engem azokra a régi időkre emlékeztet, amikor mindenki ilyen videókat csinált. Ez az első videó. Jó öreg Windows Movie Maker. Nem, Fade the narrator.
Takes you back, doesn't it? I
Oh,
spent a
igen.
lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else.
8 perc alatt? Egy igazi mester. Neki kéne vágni a videóimat. És most amikor kinyílik ez, és
And then,
megtalálom
Stanley,
az
then we
utolsót.
came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here behind the boss's office. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a Figley and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly like.
Igen, persze azokat De most a jelenbe vagy.
And then there was no more. Because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future.
Az ott a múlt.
Goodbye, memory zone.
Azt írta, hogy you are in the past. Az ilyet nagyon szeretem.
No, I'm not done. I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
Oké, ilyet sem láttam még, hogy a töltésképet azt mondta, hogy nem.
Okay, yes, the back of the boss's office. I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going, I want more.
Azt hogy ez egy olyan metafora, hogy a nosztalgia egyes embereket hogy
And
képes.
here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
Ne!
Yes, I love that video. Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
Ja, szép szóval, alma.
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one. This was our second Figley. Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going.
Jó. Igen.
This is it. The very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
A demonstráció volt. Nem így volt. Az
Look, it's the
ugrókarika.
terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, I did... Oh, yes! The two doors! Who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
Igen, egy klasszikus emlék. Kerüljen a vezetlól. Az iroda.
And before everything else, there was your office.
Igen.
Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office?
A Half-Life
There's
mod.
something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started. Back then I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was passionate. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions, he would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley? Was I lonely? Yes, perhaps that's it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But I suppose it's grown old. I want to think for myself again. I want to go back to how it used to be. Yes, I can be on my own again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run of the office, and then I'll retire him for good.
Oh.
I did enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Én most itt abba is hagyom ezt a részt. Remélem tetszett nektek ez a rész, hogyha tetszett, ne felejtőtek el lájkolni, illetve diszlájkolni. Egyre furcsább és egyre érdekesebb ez a játék, de épp ezért szerettem az eredetit is. Az eredetit azt legelőször ugye let's play-ekből láttam. Imádtam nézni, hogy ezek a youtuberek, ezek így nézzük, hogy mi a fene történik, kaland van, mi? Lehet, hogy ugyanazt az érzést át akarom adni nektek. Valami, amiről a narrátor mesélt. Én takizoli voltam, vagyok és leszek. Találkozunk a következő részben. Auf Wiederlátásra!